have come to a realization that no matter what I do as a full-time author, these are never gonna go away. Today we're going to talk about all of the books that I read in July. It was a slow reading month, and all the books that I want to get to in August. It is officially August, which is the worst month of the year, unless you're Satan. It is a mild summer in Texas, which means that it's officially like 100 degrees, and that's like cool. This past month, Sasha, my co-writer, and I for Zenith, the Andromeda Saga, have been hard at work because we have given ourselves the most ridiculous deadline ever of September 15th for the full finished thing of all the parts of Zenith. And we are moving right along, ready to like knock this thing out of the park, get it done, and then go to Scotland for a whole month. And in Scotland, we'll also be working on another secret project because we're crazy and we don't want to sleep. I also got back from family vacation. Wish I could have said that I read a ton of books on the beach, but I was really distracted just by life and swimming with manatees. They're like fat and sweet and they have little flippers. I was also in Vegas for LeviosaCon, which was an awesome Harry Potter convention. Got to hang out with lots of other author friends. Roomed with my best friend Cherie and Sasha, and we got no sleep, and Sasha got sunburned, and it was awesome. One of the lovely authors that was at Leviosa is Roshni Chokshi. She is the author of The Star-Touched Queen, which is a brilliant fantasy inspired by Indian folklore, and this book is really, really good, you guys. I met Rosh at Leviosa, and I've been talking to her on Twitter for a long time, but she's like crazy in real life, like in the very best of ways. I actually did an author interview with her. I'm gonna post that sometime on this channel soon, so stay tuned for that. This little gem of a lady is gonna be with me again at Dragon Con next month in Atlanta, Georgia. But you should read this if you have not. It's a really good, like, heartbreaking love story fantasy. There's adventure, there's very bad people, there's a horse that like eats humans. And I'm obsessed with the way that like she writes things. Like every sentence is just like a beautiful gift to be unwrapped. The next one that I read is This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. You guys know that I'm a huge fan of Victoria and her writing, and just her as a person. She's also lovely and helpful and so talented and so deserving of all the success she's gotten. It takes place in this city where there's monsters, and it's kind of like, it's almost like a mobster monster book, and like the children of monster mobster dudes. There's a guy named August who plays the violin, and it steals people's souls, which he then feeds on. I am a musician, and I've always thought of music as a weapon because it's beautiful and it really evokes emotions from people, which is why in a lot of like dystopian society books and films, they don't let people listen to music. This book is dangerous. It's action-packed, it's amazing. I absolutely loved the female lead, Kate Harker. I think she's super tough. I think she could beat the crap out of Katniss. And I love Katniss and I love Kate. I want like Kate-ness. I want them to be one person or like a best friend duo. The next one that I read was the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. I read this on the beach. I had no idea going into it that it was like a 700-page monster of a story. It is basically about all these characters that join together to try and defeat this dark lord dude that's been ruling over this place for 1,000 years, and this street rat girl named Vin, who happens to be a Mistborn, who is someone that can access all these awesome abilities through something called allomancy. And allomancy is like drinking vials of metal substances, like tin or copper or all these different things, and then each one of those metals gives them this cool ability. And when they run out of those metals, they start losing the ability. So they always have to like drink the copper or the tin. Why can't I think of any other metals? So awesome. I think Brandon Sanderson is an incredible world builder. I think that's like my favorite thing about his other series, Steelheart. So I'm super excited. I finished book 1 of Mistborn and I am obsessed with it. I can't wait to read the rest of them. The last one that I read in July is Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo. I live way out in the middle of literally nowhere, and so driving anywhere takes like an hour, so I always have an audiobook on hand, and I just completed this trilogy on audio. It's so good. If you haven't read the Grisha trilogy, then you're a fool. Listening to it on audio was like this awesome. I always wanted to get in the car and drive. I was like finding excuses to go drive around. Now it's time for all the books that I want to read in August. Month from Hell. I must have a death wish for myself because I bought the box set of Mistborn and I didn't realize I was buying the little tiny mass market paperback size, and so like My eyes are gonna fall out of my skull when I'm done reading this. It's like 900 pages. I actually just found out that I'm gonna be speaking on a panel with Brandon Sanderson at Dragon Con tentatively. Guys, Mistborn. Like, I wanna be a Mistborn. Next, I am reading The Thief by Megan Whalen Turner. Sarah J. Maas and I think it was Susan Dennard told me that I absolutely have to read this because this is a really good fantasy book. It came out when I was like a baby, like 5, same thing. And it's about this kid who's a prisoner who has to go and steal something for the king. The cool thing about books is like this came out in '95 and it doesn't feel like it's like an old story at all. It doesn't feel like it's like some super lame thing from the 90s that like maybe might come back and be cool, like slap bracelets, which doesn't make sense because they were painful. The next one is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I am reading this on audio. So far, it's amazing. The guy who's narrating this book is just like this cool, melting country voice, and it kind of like makes you just want to curl up and fall asleep, which probably isn't the safest thing while you're driving a car. The next one was sent to me by my friend Kandari Blake. This is 3 Dark Crowns, which is coming out from Harper on September 20th. This is this awesome fantasy where there are 3 triplet sisters that are fighting to become queen. These sisters have like powers, and if you haven't read anything by Kandari Blake, she is the author of Anna Dressed in Blood. She's a really good writer. Everything she writes is just vivid, and you can just see it like plainly in your mind. It's like reading a film with words. The next one I want to read is Bright Smoke, Cold Fire. How can smoke be bright? How can fire be cold? It's like the title of this book is how I feel about everything that Rosamund Hodge writes. It's like this like riddle, and I just want to crack it. Like everything she writes is amazing and kind of like mind-blowing. This is the 3rd in her like series of retellings. This one is inspired by Romeo and Juliet, which makes me think that it's gonna end sad. And I'm not sure I'm prepared for that. This also comes out in September on the 27th, so pre-order this baby now. The last one is Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. Jay Kristoff is the co-author of the Illuminae series with Amy Kaufman. Trick of the trade here, when a book is ginormous, like tall, it's probably gonna be a pretty big deal. All I know about this one is that it's a new fantasy series from Jay. There is a world where 3 suns never set. It's like almost never night. And this girl joins an assassin school. Like, never nighttime assassins, Jay Kristoff. I need no other reasons to read this book. You guys know that I am obsessed with maps in books. The best thing about Nevernight is that it not only has one amazing map, but guys, I don't think you're prepared. There are 2 maps in this book. I'm so excited. Girl, bloody dagger, like cool wall statue thing, and like wings. I'm already so excited, but it's signed. And I know that it's actually signed because like if you like lick your finger and you touch it, the ink runs. I'm gonna get on Twitter and someone's gonna be like, hey Jay, Lindsay licked your autograph. I'm gonna be like, no, okay, guilty, I love you. That is all that I have for you guys this month. I have a lot of reading to do. I also have another like 60,000 words-ish to write in Zenith with Sasha. Just in case you guys have not heard, the Murder Complex sequel, The Death Code, is now out in paperback. It's in stores online, there's barcodes. Also now pre-order book 3 of my Balance Keepers trilogy, The Traitor of Beltroll. This comes out in November of this year. This is my favorite book in the trilogy, and there's horses, Pegasus on the cover, and I'm really happy about that. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have a video that you want me to do, leave the idea in the comments. That's all I have, you guys. Thank you for watching. Remember, I love you, God loves you. Do not forget to love yourself.